What's up, everybody? It's your old pal, Mr. Main Event Wrestling here. Haven't been up in a couple weeks, and that is my bad. And I'm just here to catch up. And let's start with where we left off last, Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell was a pretty good show. The two Hell in a Cell matches were good. The Cena-Orton one was not nearly as good as the Ambrose-Rollins one, and I didn't expect it to be. But Cena won his, and then Rollins won his, so I got it right with the heel winning one and the face winning the other. I just got it mixed around. But we're getting Cena-Lesnar again, and hopefully that'll be before the Rumble. Hopefully it'll be at TLC. Maybe Brock Lesnar can be in a TLC match, see how he would fare in there. And we can get Orton versus Lesnar at the Rumble, since over the past couple Raws, Orton has turned face. And that's leading into a lot of what's happening at Survivor Series, where the main event will be a traditional 10-man elimination tag match with Team Cena versus Team Authority. And Vince McMahon came out this week and made it where if the Authority's team loses, the Authority is no longer the Authority. So they'll lose power over the happenings of Raw, and who knows who will be in charge. Will it be a general manager? Will there be no real figurehead? I'd like to have it be one of two things, or three things, actually. Either no figurehead, or have Mick Foley come back, because Mick Foley was the best general manager, commissioner, whatever they ever had. He was the best, because he was funny, he could be serious, he could do everything in that role, and he just added so much to the show, and he could go off the script, and it didn't really matter, because he was funny, and Mick Foley is very quick-witted. Mick Foley can make a joke at the snap of a button, but Mick Foley can also get really serious. I mean, look back at his promos in 2012 with Punk. Those were really serious and really good. Or, third option, but I think the most unlikely option, have Austin come in as general manager. Have him just raise hell every time he comes in and just be the rattlesnake. And because I'd like to see Austin on TV more regularly, because I desperately miss him, because he was just amazing. And he always has been, always will be one of my absolute favorites. Same with Mick Foley. But I think if either of those two were general manager, commissioner, whatever they would call them, they wouldn't be in on a permanent basis. They would be in on a temporary basis, maybe shown via satellite more often than being actually in the arena. And I'd be fine with that. They did that with Shawn Michaels. They did that with Gorilla Monsoon. I mean, those two weren't the best of commissioners, but I think it can still be done. Alright, and then what else happened the past couple weeks on Raw? It looks like Dolph Ziggler is going to be joining Team Cena. Dolph Ziggler's been pretty featured the past couple weeks, especially this past Monday. He promoed with Triple H and the entire Authority for a good 5 minutes, and he looked really good in the promo. He cut a really good promo, like he always can, always has, if they would just give him the chance. And Triple H was like, oh, we can give you whatever you want. Just be on our side. You're one of the hardest working guys here, and it's not even a question. And you don't get what you deserve, but we can give you what you deserve. And then Dolph just goes, oh, what I want? Anything I want? I want you all out of power, blah, blah, blah. And then they make Rollins versus Ziggler for the Intercontinental title, which I would have honestly liked to see a title change, because the title change would have meant something. It would have changed hands in a main event storyline, and it would have gone to the obvious next guy in line somewhat. I mean, other than Reigns or whoever they have win the Rumble. but the obvious next big guy that they haven't labeled the next big guy yet. But that briefcase is showing that he will be a future main event player. And so I think that would bring prestige back to the Intercontinental title. And that's something that it desperately, desperately needs at this point, because it hasn't been featured enough in main event storylines, or even close to main event storylines, or even anything above curtain jerker storylines. Speaking of titles that need to be elevated, on Raw this past week, or after Raw this past week, they wouldn't shut up about how Rusev and Sheamus were fighting for the title after Raw exclusively on the WWE Network. And they had their match. They both had matches earlier in the night, which is kind of weird. Both Rollins and those two worked twice. But Rusev won the title, which I expected, which I think is a good move for the character. I think it's a good move for the title because it gives the title purpose. It puts the title in a pretty big storyline that WWE has been doing with Rusev and being all anti-American. He's holding the U.S. title while Lana and him are both trashing the United States. It's built like that. They should have done this, I think, a month or two ago, but who am I? What do I know? And on Raw, Rollins, after during his title match, which he did not win the title, he got RKO'd by Randy Orton during the match, and that ended it in a DQ. And then later on in the night, Rollins got Orton because the Authority wanted Orton on the team, but Orton wanted to get his hands on Rollins, and so as a way to get Orton on the team, they had Orton go one-on-one with Rollins because Orton wanted to get his hands on him for the curb stomp a few weeks back. And then they have their match, and Rollins gets the win out of nowhere with the roll-up, and it was surprising to me to see Rollins get a clean win over Orton, but I liked it. And then after the match, they had Orton shake hands with all the members of the Authority, with Noble and Mercury and Kane and everyone. And then when it got to Rollins, he gave Rollins a big RKO. And then everyone else started to attack him to get him off Rollins, and then Orton started fighting back. And then Triple H tried to get Orton off him, and they bumped shoulders, and then Orton nails Triple H in the face, and then they just beat the high holy hell out of Orton. Orton gets a curb stomp on both the announce table and the steel steps. I thought that was a really, really cool spot. And Rollins even did Orton's pose in the on the announce table before jumping and giving him the curb stomp on the steps, and they're using this so Randy Orton can shoot the next Condemned movie, and it's looking like he won't be at Survivor Series, or at least that's what they're saying. I don't know if it's just for a surprise factor or if the filming's going to take that long, and they're going to bring him back just before Survivor Series to join Team Cena. But it's shaping up to be a decent Survivor Series, and they're having to work their second straight pay-per-view without their champion, Brock. I'm going to stay at home and collect my money while everyone else does the work, Lesnar. But I still like Lesnar as champion. I don't mind him being at home. I don't want him at home till the Rumble. I think that's too long. I think he should work Survivor Series, but he's obviously not going to. I didn't mind him taking one pay-per-view off, but two, that's kind of a bit much to me. And speculation this week has been coming that Vince McMahon coming back and making the stipulation with the Authority possibly having to dismantle after Survivor Series could be a way to introduce a power struggle storyline that would involve Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania with if Rock wins, Vince gets control. If Triple H wins, they keep control. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Because those two, despite their extensive rivalry, never faced one-on-one at WrestleMania. And I think that would be a pretty cool thing to have the two guys from the Attitude Era head-to-head at WrestleMania 31. And that's about it. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, like me on Facebook, comment with any questions, post any questions to my Facebook. I would probably be more inclined to answer questions from Facebook rather than in the YouTube comments. But until next time, I will see you all later. Have a good one.